Hey, what's going on, everyone? Dan Wanis here with the Daily Fantasy Press. I will be joining you guys for another podcast breaking down the Memorial Invitational Tournament this upcoming week. The event is held at Muirfield Village Golf Club in Dublin, Ohio. It's a par 72 coming in at 7,392 yards. The course was designed by none other than the Golden Bear, Jack Nicklaus. It's a tighter course that requires you to keep the ball in the fairway. It's got some longer rough if you miss it. Once again this week, we are going to be targeting ball strikers. The past three winners include Dirt McGirt, Lingmerth, and Hideki Matsuyama. And since the Memorial is one of 5 non-majors to have invitational status, like we saw last week at Colonial, RBC Heritage, Arnold Palmer, and Quicken Loans, this is once again a smaller field than a regular tour event. So we will be seeing a larger number of guys making the cut, and because of this, you will be able to take a little more risk in your lineups and go with the stars and scrubs and go down to that lower tier to stretch to get some golfers. And beyond hosting the Memorial every year, Muirfield has played home to a number of large events, and these include U.S. Junior Amateur events, Ryder Cup, U.S. Amateur event held in 1992, and then the 1998 Solomon Cup, and also the 2013 President's Cup. So there have been quite a few events hosted here. Guys are very familiar with it. So you will be able to lean on course history this week. So let's get right into the picks. Starting out with Draftkings, first guy I have here, John Rahm, 11,100. I mean, I don't think I have to say much about this guy. This guy, hashtag RomGoat, he crushes every single week. He leads all the stat categories, and he is taking over the PGA Tour. I am just going to be going back to this guy week in and week out before he is 100% owned every week, because that's about what he should be. He is just playing on another level. Here we have him ranked second in par 4 scoring on the season, second in strokes gained tee to green, and 12th in greens of regulation percent. And next we have Hideki. As I mentioned, he won this event 2 years ago. He is that win along with a 5th place finish. He missed the cut last year. I'm not going to be worried about that. I think he's in great form this year. You can see across the board here, he is ranked 7th in par 4 scoring, strokes gained tee to green, and greens and regulation percentage. And then lastly, Ricky. He's priced down to 8,900. And to give you an idea, Bug Cauley is priced at 8,000. So when these guys are in the same price range, Ricky's course history here has been suspect. He's missed the last 3 cuts at Memorial. I'm not going to be worried about that. I think Ricky's a different player this year. He's had some time off. I know he's been back here in Jupiter the last couple weeks, getting golfing, and I'm not worried about those 3 missed cuts because, like I said, Ricky, he's on another level this year with his game. So I think you'll be able to get him at lower ownership with huge upside. And at 8,900 on DraftKings, I love Ricky this week. Moving on. Next, we have Mark Leishman, priced at 6,900. His last 2 finishes, he has been 11th and 5th. And ever since his win at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, he has played really good golf. He is ranked 46th in scrambling this year. Strokes gained tee to green, he's ranked 23rd. And strokes gained approach, 53rd. So at 6,900, I think Leishman's a great play. Next, we have Brendan Steele. He has not missed a cut in forever. You look at his game logs, good luck trying to find a miscut in there. He's ranked first in scrambling, 13th in strokes gained tee to green, and 18th in strokes gained approach. And he's checking all the boxes I'm looking at this week, and it's 6,700. I love him for the price. And next we have Byung Yun An. He is also another guy that has not missed a cut in forever. You can see his scrambling numbers, not very good. But he's ranked 17th in strokes gained tee to green, 28th in strokes gained approach, and his form is just right where you want a guy. And he's priced at 6,900. You're looking for him to make the cut, give a chance to get a top 25 finish in there, and if he does that, he's really paying off his value there. Next, we are moving on, and believe it or not, FanDuel is back this week. They have a new format set out. They have taken away rounds 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and it's just pick 8 golfers for the week. So I think strategy is going to be interesting this first week. I'm guessing people are going to be more conservative, taking guys kind of priced right there in the middle, so they're not spending all the way up because they don't want to reach for the scrub. So in tournament formats, I think it's a great strategy to go stars and scrubs, especially with a greater percentage of guys making the cut this week. But let's get to the picks. We have Tony Finau first. This guy checks all the boxes I'm looking at. He's been in great form. He has an 8th and 11th place finish here at Muirfield. And he's ranked 17th in par 4 scoring, 6th in strokes gained tee to green, 21st in strokes gained approach. And Finau has been in the bottom 20 in strokes gained putting over his last 12 rounds. And in those same 12 rounds, he has been ranked 4th in strokes gained tee to green. So because of putting variance, I want to load up on guys who are struggling putting. And even with his struggles putting, Tony Finau has been finishing really well lately. He has had some incredible rounds of golf where if he just gets that putter going, he's going to be taking down some of these events. So I like Tony this week. He's got good course history. He's in great recent form, and everything aligns, I think, for Tony this week. Next, we have Keegan Bradley. He's priced at 6,900. I was actually listening to a podcast this week, and Keegan was interviewed, and he talked about the new swing coach and how he feels just so confident with his game, and he's really been putting in the work putting. And I'm not a Keegan believer by any means, especially in the past, but I think. And you look at his stats, his finishes, and there has been a turning point. He is ranked 4th in par 4 scoring this year, 48th in strokes gained tee to green, and 79th in approach. And I think at 6,900, you can, especially on FanDuel, load up on a guy like Keegan in that price range. It'll allow you to get some more stars in your lineup, and all he's got to do is make the cut and get by and make some moves over the weekend. So I like Keegan on FanDuel this week. Next we have Scott Piercy, who's coming off a 7th place finish from Colonial, and he's ranked 3rd in par 4 scoring, 65th in strokes gained tee to green, and 49th in approach. And at FanDuel, he's priced 6,700. I like Piercy this week, coming off the strong performance last weekend, and another guy that's a lower price that I think you can load up on. Next, we have Bud Cauley. I mentioned earlier, he's priced at $8,000 on Draftkings and only $6,400 on FanDuel. He's got 3 made cuts at Memorial. He was really hyped up last week. He kind of just had an okay performance for what he was priced up at on DraftKings. He's ranked 64th in par 4 scoring, 38th in strokes gained tee to green, and 10th in strokes gained approach. So I think FanDuel is a spot to load up on Bud. I will definitely be getting quite a few shares of him. And I think he's having a really good recent form and feeling really comfortable with his game right now. Next, we have Sung Kang. We've been on him the last few weeks, and this is his first appearance at Memorial. And I think it's just another misprice at 6,100. He's ranked 44th in strokes gained tee to green, and 54th in approach. So following that Star Scrubs, load up on Kang again, and I think he's going to make the cut and get through and pay off for his price point for sure. And next we have Jamie Lovemark. He's priced at 6,000. He played really well at the Byron Nelson, and he's only got 1 appearance at the Memorial, and he finished 52nd. He is ranked 66th in par 4 scoring, 45th in strokes gained tee to green, and 60th in strokes gained approach. So I think Lovemark, another value play for you guys, and I like where his recent form's at as well. Next we have Fantasy Draft. And their format has not changed from prior weeks. It's pick 7 golfers, top 6 advance. We love the format. Our first pick here is James Hahn. He's priced at 12,400. He's ranked 42nd in greens and regulation. And you can see his strokes gained tee to green and approach are not very good. But I want to point out he has been in the bottom 10 in strokes gained putting, but ranked 20th overall in strokes gained tee to green over his last 12 rounds. So once again, like Finau, I pointed out earlier, he's on the wrong side of putting variance, and I want to target those guys. And that leads me right into Martin Laird. Exact same story as those guys. He's ranked 80th in greens and regulation, 30th in strokes gained tee to green, and 44th in approach. He's been in the bottom dead last in strokes gained putting, and we know Party Marty is not known for his putting, but I think this is an even greater stretch from what his typical putting has been. So he's ranked 25th in strokes gained tee to green over his last 12 rounds. So that gives you really good comfort with taking Party Marty. And at 12,300, I think it's a great pick on Fantasy Draft. And lastly, we have Kyle Stanley. I know he missed a cut last weekend. A lot of people were on him, but you have to just go back to the numbers. He's ranked 2nd in greens and regulation, 5th in strokes gained tee to green, and 4th in strokes gained approach. Another guy that's in the bottom 30 strokes gained putting and ranked 14th in strokes gained tee to green over his past 12 rounds. So another guy, and I just think it is so imperative to take these guys on the wrong side of putting variance and get on them before their putters heat up and it's too late, because these guys aren't known for putting, but they are going through some really rough putting streaks. So let's move on to our listener league on Fantasy Draft. Congrats to Quake 211. He came in with a solid score of 684 points. Huge margin of victory here. His top scorer was Sean O'Hare with Piercy right behind him. He had 6 to 7 golfers make it through the cut, and you can see he went with the balanced approach. Matt Kuchar was his highest priced guy, and and outside Kuchar, no one was priced above 16,000. Now, for anyone wanting to join Fantasy Draft, our listener league, you can sign up on FantasyDraft.com. When you sign up, be sure to type in DFP into the referred by field. And for anyone that signs up and deposits money between now and the U.S. Open, they are going to give you a free entry into our listener league the following week. So there's some extra incentive for you guys to sign up. And it's really fun for us, breaking down, following our listeners, interacting with them, and showing the winner every week. So, and the thing we love about Fantasy Draft is that the salaries are much more reflective of player value. You don't have these giant mispricings like you see on FanDuel and Draftkings, where you feel like you have to take a guy just because he is so mispriced that that if he goes off and you try the game theory side of it and fade him, it could take your week. So we love the tight pricing at Fantasy Draft. We put in the work, we put in the research. So I think it's really reflective on Fantasy Draft with the knowledge and research we do. And Brandon and I have had really good success on Fantasy Draft these last few weeks. And moving on, we have some exciting news that we are going to be releasing the option for you guys to purchase each week. It's only $3 a week, and it's weekend PGA stats that we are going to be releasing on Friday after the first 2 rounds of the tournament, and get you guys strokes gained tee to green stats for those first 2 rounds, strokes gained approach, strokes gained putting, and greens and regulation percent. And like I was saying earlier, with some of those guys that are really struggling with strokes gained putting, but very strong in strokes gained tee to green, those are the guys you want to target in weekend golf. If you have been doing that, you have been making money. And since no one else has this, we want to offer this to you guys. And you'll be able to find it. Sign up on our website, dailyfantasypress.com. If you guys have any questions about it, reach out to us. But all we do is, with the way PGA Tour app is set up, you have to manually click on each player, see their stats, and we want to put it all in one Excel file for you guys to look at, and not waste your time doing that. So it's only $3 a week, and it's going to be for all the golfers that make the cut and their stats for the first 2 rounds. And lastly, if you guys are not following us on Twitter at Daily Fantasy Press, give us a thumbs up on YouTube if you guys enjoy our videos. Leave any comments in the comments section. And if you have any questions, feel free to message us, and be tuned for our article. We are going to touch on picks that we didn't touch on in this podcast. And Brandon's, he's got his awesome article each week. And we will also be releasing a fantasy draft article as well for our picks that we like on there. So really hope you guys enjoy the video this week. And if you have any questions about the weekend stats that we're going to be offering, please reach out to us.